Well, it's springtime and it must be budget season. Many people are looking at the president's budget that came out earlier this week, and it has pretty sharp contrast to the Republican proposed budget that came out a couple of months ago that was authored by Paul Ryan. Both are pretty much irreconcilable. So the final budget that we see, if we do see one this year, probably won't look too much like either of the proposed budgets. But let's look at the highlights of the president's budget. He proposes spending cuts at first totaling $1.8 trillion over 10 years. Remember, that's a convention looking at 10-year numbers. He uses 1.1 trillion of that to undo the sequester. Remember, the sequester cut discretionary spending by over $1 trillion was went into law on March 1st. That's a non-starter because the Republicans aren't going to go along with that. They're pretty happy with the sequester. And the other problem with the president's budget in terms of deficit reduction is that about 1.4 trillion of his total 1.8 trillion in deficit reduction is simply an assumption that that will be the savings from ending the war in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan. That's highly unlikely. When you put it all together, it doesn't look like the president's budget proposal would reduce the deficit at all.